house, and she calls again, no, you'll just stress me out more, I'm going to sleep and all that. So we turn around and come home. So, you know, so we wasted the whole day driving halfway there and back.
Yeah, right, okay. All right, I call the working meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Village landscaping, I didn't get anything, any reports or anything on it, but we did have complaints about the Shore Road, what's it called? The reeds, yeah. They were in the street, and we have a couple of signs, like the sign actually coming here to the village. It's got growth all around it. So I don't know if we just want to have David trim them back, if we want to have the landscaping company do it.
They're supposed to be in.
I didn't see them today, did you?
They were supposed to be in.
They're there.
They were?
They're
They're
sure.
Poquott.
Oh, or on the side of Shore Road? Okay, I didn't know
Both
that.
sides.
Okay, thank. I don't know if they did the sign, but I can have David look at that.
Looks like they got the part too, right? They weeded out the flower.
That was like,
garden.
yeah, they did a good job.
Looks good.
That's what happens when you have
Yeah, that's a strategy.
David. Okay, item number 2, National Grid doing gas service to that side of the village. So we needed, okay, so we had 53 people that were interested in getting natural gas. 11 people completed their applications. 2 were incomplete, which I sent back to both of them. They were just minor things to fill in who their plumber was. So I went back to, because I had 2 other people on Washington who I gave applications to who haven't handed them back in yet. She said that the majority of people are on Chestnut. So in order to have Washington to Chestnut this way, we needed 14 people for the east side, and then we needed 19 people altogether for both sides of Chestnut. We currently have 10. So, and then the 2 on Washington that I'm waiting to get back. So I'm gonna just keep going and just keep trying to get 19 people down Washington. And we have about another few months, because by the spring, this program might end, and we don't wanna take that chance. So if we can get them by say, December 1st, then we can get this going forward. That's where we're at right now. So anybody on Washington or Chestnut or Birchwood that wants gas we should be signing them up.
What
Okay?
was the resolution for the houses that were not completed?
She's gonna take those applications as long as the builder fills out the application with what's needed. Yeah, we'll see Charlie, yeah, okay. So,
How are we doing on Washington again?
Washington, we had 4, but we had 2 people pick them up, and if they haven't dropped them off yet.
So, and we need what?
We need altogether 19 for all down Washington and both sides of Chestnut.
Okay, so Washington there's no set number because it really depends on Chestnut.
Yeah, they're included in that number, in the 19.
And if we added Birchwood, did that be included, or is that going to be a different?
That's different, but
Okay.
Birchwood's already has, out of the 11, I think they had, what she told me, they had 6, I think. Birchwood was kind of already going in
Okay.
Adams, there was like 1 or 2 people in Adams that filled out their application, so, that was like a separate thing. Okay. Okay. Number 3, shared services with Suffolk County. Last Wednesday, there was a meeting with the county and all the villages to vote on moving forward to share services. Were you on that call? I don't know if you were on the call, you were at the meeting, okay. So we voted to be part of that because we had done the resolution. Everyone voted to be part of it. So now the next meeting is not gonna be until the end of the year. And I guess at that point, they're gonna come up with what they think we could share with them, and then we can go from there. Now, the town's already doing that, which will be the next, when we get to that. Chris can talk about that. But we just voted to be part of sharing resources with Suffolk County. Financing from Gold Coast Bank. We're waiting to get the final paperwork, which has to be reviewed by both you and Joe. I didn't hear back from them today. I just sent them all the notes that we had. But
Okay.
Chris said he'll get it to you by the end of the week, so.
Great.
Okay. Town of Brookhaven, the
Right, so the town of Brookhaven emailed us wondering if we wanted to be a part of their, they call it the MCEP project. That's really the Municipal Consolidation and Efficiency Plan. They had two projects that they thought we might be interested in, as we've sent out to all the small villages. One was to have our clerks turn over their, I guess she actually changed it. It's not to become the acting registrar. She changed it. She sent me the documents for it. Custodian, Brookhaven becomes a custodian of certain registrar records, and to take over birth and death certificates, to centralize them into the Brookhaven file system, and it will allow them to be accessed online. It's really not something that affects us in a great matter. We've had, I think, one death in the last 3 years in the village. So that's something that if we did it, we could say that we are becoming part of the state movement towards consolidation of certain municipal functions. This one would be an easy one to be a part of. After talking with the town of Brookhaven clerk, there's a couple things we'd have to do to make them our registrar. We'd have to make a resolution for that. I have the paperwork for that. We could probably look it over or think about it until next meeting if we wanted to do that. I didn't really see any negatives of it. It happens so infrequently here. Really, it would just be the transfer of any documents that we have currently to them.
This is part of the $33 million grant that they won, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's part of their grant. The second project they had was to become the custodian of all our records. And their selling point is that they have this great storage facility for all the records, and they can laser fiche them all so that they'll be accessible online. But they haven't done it with any village yet, and they were I think they're looking for something small to start with to test out the system. I don't think it provides any great asset to us. We are, I was speaking again to Donna Lent over there, and she was talking about how, you know, people could just come to the Brookhaven Town Hall and get what they need. But people can just walk to our village hall and get it much more easily. And then the transfer of the documents, and then the day-to-day transfer of documents that would have to go to them. It seemed like that was a bit more inconvenient for us. So my recommendation, yeah, mine was really, that seemed to, I was actually a little apprehensive about having our documents not here, you know. So the only thing I get out of that was maybe we should see what the laser fiche system is and have that here. But other than that, I didn't think it was beneficial. I know I've spoken with a few people about it. I spoke to the deputy clerk as well and got her input, and she felt like that wasn't really necessary.
And Joe, what do you think?
The problem with all of that is, like you said, A, we gotta send all of our records over to the town of Brookhaven, and then B, we have to keep them updated
Right.
monthly or weekly or whatever the case may be, which is gonna be horrendous.
Yeah.
We don't have that much in the way of records in the first place, and for us to get them out is not that hard. The only thing we have a problem with is the stuff that we get in from outside. Town of Brookhaven stuff that comes into here, we have a problem with getting some of that stuff from the town of Brookhaven itself when we have to answer questions. So most of our stuff is here. We've got it in microfilm, we've got it on disc, and we have to redo all of that because we have not done it since '88 or something like that.
I don't even know how we would get it off
No
the
more
desk.
floppy drives.
Right.
Well, that's the thing I was interested in. That laser fiche system that they have is a program that you get a license for, and you run it, and it essentially becomes a scanning. It's almost like those tax pro. It's like Intuit. It reads it, files it, and is able to make it all just through scanning.
If we could do that aspect, that would be great. The other aspect that.
But we could do that in-house.
Making them the town our
No.
physical registrar,
Not a
of
good
vital
idea.
statistics.
Right.
It's a win-win situation.
Right, for the registrar.
Right now, the state of New York requires that any village that goes on to issue a death or a birth certificate must do it online with the state of New York. And if you only do it once every 3 or 4 years, it's like,
Right, you're never up to
what
speed.
did I do last time? you gotta remember, you gotta go find the website, and you gotta get on it, you gotta log on it, you gotta put all your information in it, and then they gotta physically send you the documentation back by email. So, yes, that would be good to get that out of here, take town, fine, take it, I don't give a damn. Our book records for both birth and death, they only have 2 books, only about an inch and a half thick each.
Now, they haven't, I will say, they haven't done this before. They, in the email, is interesting, she said that, oh, we're doing this for Lake Grove already, but Lake Grove became a village. Brookhaven had already had control of all that. So they have never done the process, so we really have to pin them down on what the process is and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to make sure we have that all.
Do you want to start looking into that for the
Yeah,
next meeting?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to Donna about what that process would be.
Okay.
Stop in, I'll show you what we're looking at regarding
Yeah.
the records.
Yeah, she was funny. She's talking about the size of the documents they have for all the other stuff. And she's like, Village of Lake Grove has, they get 4,000 boxes a year of documents. And I'm like, we're not, you have no idea.
We have
what
a
we're dealing with
folder.
here. No idea.
But we're good for storage space, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
this.
coming from,
Yeah.
so we don't have to worry about it.
We have stuff,
Not right now.
we have stuff down there which we're gonna have to get rid of because of the time frame. Most of the stuff I'm looking at on the MU1, which is the New York State Records Keeping Logbook, states that all of our financial stuff, vouchers, checks, etc., orders to pay, invoices, all of that stuff, maximum you gotta keep is for 6 years. I go back to the 90s downstairs, so we can open up boxes and start shredding
Well,
like a
but
banshee.
that's one of the problems, is that to get rid of this stuff
We gotta shred.
is a whole project in and of itself, and we never get around to doing it.
Well, we
Yeah, but
are,
that's not gonna change. We still would have to do that. We would have to cull our records before we handed them to Brookhaven. So that would
That's
have to
one of the
be-
reasons we never get around to it, because when you take a look at what has to be done, but meantime, we're storing all of this old stuff, and it's gonna
Yeah.
continue that way.
Well, the other thing you can do would be to physically go out and hire a shredding company to come in, like the banks do.
But we'd still have to go through it.
No, just take the entire box and hand it to them. Everything we have is boxed by date. So if they're looking at vouchers and bills and invoices from 1988 or 1998, for that matter, it's all in a box.
Okay.
Always just hand them the whole box. All they gotta do is take the paper clips and the staples out and shred it all for
So
you.
how come we've never done it?
Time factor.
Yeah, 2 people running it through a
Well,
shredder.
that's what,
But we have, do you want to talk about bringing Kelly in for a few hours a week to start training her?
Well, she's got, well, hopefully we're gonna bring in somebody to train for the building department, 3 hours a week,
Joe's gonna,
starting out.
yeah,
I'm gonna give her my 3 hours on
we're
Wednesday.
gonna start bringing someone else in to start learning stuff. So maybe if she has an extra time, she could do some shredding, so.
And then we have always the ability to grab all those beautiful high school seniors who are looking for credits for their
Or
graduation.
sixth graders, right?
Yes,
They can't just throw it in.
run shredders. I had the last kid there running a shredding machine. I didn't know what else to do with him. He showed up at 10 o'clock in the morning, I said, who are you?
We take help no matter what. Okay, so we recently had a request from one of the residents about doing payment plans for village taxes. Did you say we can't do that? We shouldn't do
Well, it
that?
has to be approved by the trustees.
Okay.
You can enter a payment plan for taxes, but it has to be approved by the trustees.
So I think based on what we were saying, did we think that wasn't, we should collect them at the right time, or how's everyone feel?
You set a precedent.
It's a
Do
precedent.
you want to set a precedent
No.
so that it answers itself?
Okay.
And I know there was concerns about like what the legal implications are, but if I'm correct, when people are in arrears of taxes, it's not like we take them to court, they're just in arrears. So there's no litigation that's gonna happen. I know there was concerns about what the cost of the village in litigation would be, but have we had in the past taken people who have not paid their taxes to court and spent tons of money on it?
No.
It was done years back. They did it even before I became clerk, which was 40-some years ago. They did it to one individual. But if you'll check your listing today for any past due taxes, 2 of them were wiped out this morning.
Okay.
One of them was 3 years old, the other one was 2 years old. So we're getting them in, slowly but surely. The other one which we had, which I sent out the notice on to you guys, was she's 5 years back in her taxes. Wants to pay us $250 a month.
Right. And then what do we do?
We got a
when the next tax
$3,000 bill by
comes?
the time the next check comes
Right.
in, the last check comes in, she'd be due for her taxes again, so I said no. Besides, if you take one payment,
That means you agree, you screwed.
Yeah.
you agreed to the payment plan and you gotta stick with it.
The people don't pay their taxes, they don't automatically lien their house
Well, it's a lien on their house, but nothing, it just stays as a lien on the house until
until they sell the
they
house. or-
remortgage or sell. The only thing you can do is you can you can sue them in district court to try to get a judgment against them. The other thing you can do is you can actually start a foreclosure proceeding for the taxes. I have that, several villages are doing it now.
The way the lien works, though, eventually, if they were to sell that house, that money would eventually come back to us.
Yes.
One way or another, we're gonna get the.
One way or another, the tax man gets paid.
Yeah. Might be later, but, okay. All right, so we agree, we're not gonna do that, we're gonna keep it the way it is. Okay.
Question, you're calculating interest on that?
Yes. You gotta know, because now it does it every week.
Every month.
Okay, number 7, Jeff, you worked on the stormwater 132 and advertising 35.
Right.
Okay.
They're done. There's really not a whole lot new. What I did was edited. Oh, that's not true. In signs, I added something on political signs, which I took right from the town booklet,
Okay,
which is they have to be no greater than a certain size, and that they have to come down 2 weeks after
the election.
And I think there's a total time limit, so they can't go up, you know, around or something. But otherwise, all we did was consolidate. There was a part of 183 which had signs. And then we had a chapter on advertising and signs. So, no, it was called advertising, but it has stuff on signs. So what I did was change the name to advertising and signs,
Mhm.
and then put the two together, and just added that little print on the signs. So
Okay,
it's very short, and it's very easy to review and say, you know, nothing earth-shattering. That's it. The other one, stormwater management, is very long, nothing new. But what I did was I took the part in 183 that was on stormwater, I forgot which is which. We have stormwater control and stormwater management, which to me are essentially synonymous, but Rich said no, they're two different things. So I read it over, and I see what he's saying. It's two different things, but it's under the same umbrella of stormwater. So I chose one, and I think it was whatever the chapter was already called. Since I don't have it in front of me, I don't know which